This story isn't like other stories I've done.
No, Pele. We'll try to talk to the kids now.
Yes, Mama.
I do my best to try to keep my work and my personal life very separate.
1950.
I was reporting from an orphanage in Pakistan 7 years ago when I learned something almost unimaginable. And essentially the story was that a lot of people who did not want to have girls were either killing them or abandoning them or aborting them. So ED Foundation, the orphanage portion of it, is run by this woman. And she pulls out this photo in the middle of our conversation, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what's that? And she says, oh, it's a burnt body of a baby girl that they found the day before. And that picture has haunted me for years. To save the lives of babies, the orphanage put cribs like this one all over the country. Above the cribs are these signs. The promise she makes in return to the families who've left their children is, we won't come after you. The point is not to track you down and say, shame on you for doing this. The point is to have these babies survive. For decades, hundreds of Canadian parents had been adopting from Pakistan from orphanages like this one. Sarah hoped to be one of those parents.
So I remember Dad when we were kids, and we used to come as a family every year to the CNE.
She and her father dream of creating the same memories with her son, but he remains a world away in Pakistan. We've agreed to protect her identity because she is just terrified of speaking out because she thinks it can hurt her attempts to get her son. Sarah's journey initially looked promising. In 2012, she received a letter from the provincial government. She was cleared to adopt from Pakistan. Pretty soon, there was a little boy waiting for her there.
They said that he packed his bag and he went around to all the staff and said, say goodbye to me. My mom's come to take me to Canada. I'm going.
He was 4 years.
Yeah, he was 4 years old.
But that day never came. He and dozens of other children were left in the lurch.
I least expected that the actual roadblock was going to come from my own government. That thought actually never occurred to me.
All of a sudden, they get this notice and their life is essentially turned upside down. In July of 2013, with no warning, the Harper government announced a ban. No more adoptions from Pakistan. This is the notice. Front and center, it says Pakistani law allows for guardianship of children, but does not recognize our concept of adoption. After years of allowing adoptions from Pakistan, why did Canada change its policy? That's what we really wanted to find out. My colleague Shanifa Nasser and I obtained hundreds of internal government documents to try to make sense of the change in policy.
We do get a sense that there was some kind of a rush.
The trail seems to start here. Canadian officials in Islamabad seem worried too many Pakistani children were being adopted by Canadians, they say. They send an email to Ottawa. Caseload is growing exponentially. The caseload is getting bigger, not smaller, and will continue to grow. The email sounds urgent. The official seems determined.
We need to stop this. We need to end this program.
But as we dig deeper, something else becomes clear.
Take a look at 137, where they're talking about Sharia law.
Somehow, federal officials decided that Pakistan's use of Sharia law or religious law doesn't allow for adoptions. And Canadian rules say that if these aren't real adoptions, then these kids can't come to Canada. As interesting as this memo that was sent to the deputy minister, and essentially what it says, it is impossible to adopt Pakistani children given Pakistan's prohibition on adoption. But this doesn't add up. Is it true that Pakistani laws prohibit adoption? We called the Pakistani High Commission.
My name is Shanifa Nasser. I'm calling from CBC News.
And are connected with the press secretary.
The government of Pakistan has not banned adoption at all, and we do not have any restriction as such. Adoption is allowed.
Mama, that's right. Where's Sophie?
Full disclosure, there's another reason I know Pakistan allows adoptions. This is Sophie, my daughter, who's turned 22 months today, actually. Sophie was found in one of the cribs that this woman who I had met had placed around the country. She was about 2 weeks old when we got her. She was small, she was tiny. Sophie was one of the hundreds of babies abandoned every year in Pakistan. That's all we know about Sophie, is that she came from one of these cribs. As part of my adoption, I had to go to this Pakistani court. I recorded the process on my phone in case Sophie wants to know how we became mother and child.
Ji? Very witness hai.
There was no ambiguity, no confusion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Everything about the process indicated that adoptions were allowed. I adopted under American law because at that point I was living and working in the US. If I had been living in Canada at the time, my adoption would not have been possible. For Sarah, though, it's 6 years counting, and her son remains in a Pakistani orphanage while she fights to bring him here. When we return, we track down the Minister of Immigration. Nusrat Munshi was living and working in Pakistan when she adopted her daughter, Aliza.
She was only 2 days old when I got her. And do you want to see picture? Sure. So that was the day that I got her.
Nusrat is a Canadian citizen. She wants her daughter to be one as well. But Canada has said no.
And
what was the reason they gave?
It does not create a permanent parent-child relationship.
In other words, Canada won't recognize her adoption.
You know, I think it was just instantaneous that, that we formed that bond. What's happiness? Happiness is being with you.
Aliza is 6 years old now. She and Nusrat have built a life together here in Karachi. That's not an option for them in Canada.
It's important for me that she has that right to be able to live in Canada with me.
It started as a ban in Pakistan, but we uncover that it reaches far beyond there. This email clearly states that they were not just focused on Pakistan. In our email exchanges with Canada's Immigration Department, we're told adoptions from any Muslim country can be stopped because Canada says Sharia law doesn't allow it. Immigration lawyer Haida Amirzadeh has seen the effects of the ban firsthand.
It's like really difficult situation for most of my clients.
Her clients trying to adopt from other Muslim countries are also being blocked. So she's taking her fight straight to Canada's immigration minister.
Okay, finally, huh?
What do you say to the minister in these documents that you think is going to make him change his mind?
I think to show him how discriminatory this law is for people living in the Muslim majority countries, and to show them is actually what they are, how they're interpreting is incorrect.
I'm just trying to make sense of why is the Canadian government in the business of interpreting Sharia law?
I would say it was politically motivated.
By who? For what
By the
purpose?
previous government.
And what did they want?
To prevent people from a Muslim majority country to be adopted or to come to Canada.
I mean, that's a pretty big accusation.
I'm not saying it is an accusation. I'm not accusing any specific person. When I'm reading it, when I see the way things happen, I don't come to any other conclusion than that.
5 years since the ban, Canadian families still find themselves in limbo. Pakistan says they're the legal parents of a child. Canada says they're not. So we asked the Minister of Immigration for an interview to explain. But Ahmed Hussein refuses to talk. So we just found out that the minister is going to be in Toronto at an event, and we're going to go see if we can talk to him. All right. We're here. At this Liberal Party fundraiser, Minister Hussein and the Prime Minister are about to speak on immigration. While TV crews set up, I asked the coordinator for 2 minutes of Hussein's time.
Well, I guess it's, for today, it's more so like, is he sort of taking questions today or not?
Yeah, but it's not about today.
Yeah.
We've been trying for 2 months, and he's a public official. It's important. So far, nothing. And the evening begins.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's a wonderful opportunity to recognize, first of all, our extraordinary MP and your MP and our Minister, Ahmed Hussein. To recognize the tremendous friendship between Canada and Pakistan as exemplified.
As we wait for a chance to ask some questions, a twist of irony. Hussein sits across posters of icons, Terry Fox, and the man who founded the orphanage where our story started.
The welcoming nature of Canadians allows us to lead on immigration around the world.
As the talk comes to an end,
I just wanted to thank everyone who participated.
I try one more time.
May I ask a question?
Thank you very much. Merci tout le monde. Thank you.
And with that, I'm escorted to the back while they sweep him off the stage. No time today, so I follow up with a letter seeking clarification. The very next day, a surprising turn. Got this email. It's from the ministry. We've asked the department to initiate a review of this policy. And then it goes on to say to determine a path forward to regularize adoptions from Pakistan. I think they're saying they're looking to overturn this ban. Wow. It's a possibility for opening the door again to adoptions from Pakistan. And maybe some hope for Canadian parents. For Sarah, it may seem a step closer, but the clock is still ticking. She's already missed out on the first 6 years of her son's life.
It's hard being here without him. It's hard enjoying all the things that I enjoyed as a child that I think he would enjoy, and not being able to share that with him, and not being able to enjoy it as 3 generations would together as a family.
The orphanage in Pakistan has given her an ultimatum. Bring your child to Canada or give him up.
I never dreamt that I would be still here having this conversation with you in 2018 while my son is 6 years old, still in the orphanage, and it's my own government that has prevented us from being together.